Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here, to see all of you. Thank you for your time. It's really good. So, a student of a prestigious university told me the other day, I came to university to get a degree, but I'm leaving with an education. So wait, what is he saying? Are we supposed to get a degree when we get to university? Is he saying, yeah, the degree is quite important to get that. Of course, we need to know engineers, good doctors, good mathematicians, good school teachers. But is it more than that? So if this student says, I got an education, then we need to think about this. So, I'm a first generation student. When I sat in class, the professor told us, look to the left, look to the right. One of you not going to make it. And if your parents didn't study, you're most probably not going to make it. Not very encouraging. So I was stressed. I was worried. I lived in a residence. The resident I lived at this university, I was very involved with everything. So I fulfilled that prophecy. The first 3 subjects that I looked at, maths, at this university, I failed. So I asked myself, is this professor right? Is he telling the truth? There's something wrong with me. So, for pure grit, living in a community, what the research says, if you live in a residence at the university, you will persist. The chances of you graduating is much, much higher than not living in a residence. So yes, I persist. It took me a little bit longer, but I eventually got my degree. Fast forward. I found myself working at this university now as a resident head. So one of the questions I ask when I failed after reflecting on my own challenges and issues is, what could the resident head have done? He was living there. He saw us from time to time. What could he have done? So now I'm a resident head. I live with students, day and night. See them in the worst of times, see them in the best of times. So I asked the question, so what am I supposed to do? How can I prevent another Johan who failed the 3 first subjects at university? Normally you're gone. Stats says as a first generation student, you're gone, you're done. So I asked myself that question. So I did a PhD to find the answer. So when I look at student success, this is what it looks like. Beautiful, integrated, lovely, rainbow, out of class. Everything we do, everything a student does, he learns. This is student success. If you want to have a picture of student success, this is a picture of student success. Of course, it's very complex. It's very broad, it's very vague, very integrated. So I decided, I need to get a hang on this. Let me design a framework, and I want to share the framework with you a little bit. But I want to make it in a way that it's understandable. You see the rainbow? If you take the light through a prism, it reflects those 3 different things, or 5 different things. So I want to share the 5 layers. And I want you to remember your hand. Okay? Your hand. So the first one, the first layer is access. Access is very important. As a first generation student, you are a little bit behind. So in a resident, the resident head needs to understand that. And so you do as well. You need to understand that. Access has its challenges. We need to inspire people in those spaces. Then the number 2, we need to retain our students. There was nobody there in my environment that able to help me to retain myself in those spaces. That's the second one, retention. And as a resident head, I need to be a mentor to assist people with that. Then the third one, I need to manage the spaces. So if you do the first 3 things, and people currently staying in residences, they will all pass. Just by those 3 things that happens by default. But being intentional, focusing on things. Where you have a community of 300 people in the race with 3 exits. understanding that I need to help all of them, I create one exit, one door, so that people can see the magic of people coming together, walking through the entrance, engaging with one another. That's what I call accommodation mindset. But it's much more holistic, as I said. The picture you remember? It's much more than that. We need to train our students to engage. That's the level 3. I need to be able to facilitate conversations, complex conversations, difficult conversations, globalization, poverty. I need to be able to do that. And lastly, which is the thumbs up, I need to help that student, but he doesn't leave the university with a degree, but also with an education. I need to be able to coach him. Come alongside, hear his visions, hear where he wants to go in 2 many years. What are the seeds he wants to plant? You will never see the trees coming up. So if you remember the prism, that's my framework. So then we need to look differently at residences. That's a residence for me. The student success that goes through there, we need to look different at that picture. The typical picture we have are the buildings. If you think of a residence, you think of a building where people stay. It's safe, it should be safe, it's healthy, it should be healthy, there's a bed, you're not raining. But this is the typical pictures. Beautiful, tall, lovely buildings. Make huge money out of it. That's what I call accommodation mindset. We need to break that down. We need to rethink the way we look at residences and the people that work in that space. We need to look at the different perspective of student success I just shared with you, but also the people in those environments, like myself, to live with them, as I said, day and night, 3 o'clock in the morning, engaging with students, asking them questions, get a different perspective of what the resident head look like and what it should be. I'm proposing we need to look at this. If you see a residence, you must see the human beings, the people that are there, the interactions, the coffees, the conversations, the chats, the discussions. I should be there. I should sit amongst them. What are you talking about? Direct them to real issues of the day. Also, be able to sit in open air and do your thing, but be also in an environment where there are people around, not behind your desk, nobody sees you. Have real critical conversation from different environments, trying to understand. That should be the picture. So when you take your hand, remember this, when you shake somebody's hand, remember the reflection of what student success should be. As a resident head, this is what I'm doing. I believe that all students in the future needs to leave a higher education institution, not just to get a degree, but with an education. I believe that the worst case scenario for every student, for any student, is just to get a degree. In the future, students in residences, it will be the worst case scenario for you just to get a degree. The best case scenario for you would be to get a degree plus an education. I think that's the idea worth spreading. Thank you.